Welcome to Kyle's Kitchen. Today we have a repeat guest. Steve Wolf is back. Welcome back.
Well, thanks for having me back.
I had to ask you if it had been 1 year or 2, and it has been 2 years.
Yeah, it's been 2 years.
Yeah, so we're glad to have you back. Let's see, last time when you were here, you made a white chili. I remember that.
Yeah, vegetarian chili turned out to be pretty spicy.
Yeah, but we liked it. We liked it. And so today we're going to make a almond crusted haddock and some fresh vegetables and cauliflower mash.
Mashed cauliflower, yeah, okay. As a substitute for mashed potatoes.
All right, well let's get started and we'll tell them why you even picked this meal for us today.
I will.
Okay.
All right, well I'm going to do a little cleanup on some asparagus that we're going to have with it. I already washed it at home. So you know the trick with asparagus?
About snapping it?
About snapping it.
Yeah.
Just to know where, the woody ends are not really the best part of the asparagus. So if you just take an asparagus spear and you hold it like this, wherever it snaps, this is the part you really don't want to eat because it's not going to be real tasty and kind of woody. Right. So I usually snap one and take my trusty knife and just
you have a pretty good idea where to cut.
Use that as a guide, cut them all down, and then you're pretty well ready to go. So I'm going to get these going. They don't take very long, but I'm going to cook them in a little bit of chicken broth and some crushed red pepper flakes.
You like hot.
I like spicy. I won't put a lot in, just enough that you'll know it's there.
All right.
And I'm also going to get the cauliflower going because you really want that pretty well cooked. I've cleaned it up and broken it into some relatively small pieces, and I've got a pot with about a half a cup of chicken broth going to get that cooked in. And once we get the veggies started here, we'll start working on the fish.
All right. Now, do we use any particular kind of chicken broth?
I used it's just plain old out of the grocery store chicken broth. I wanted to use vegetable broth. But they were all out of vegetable broth when I went.
They don't have as many varieties either. You just, if you get it one time, and that's it.
That's right. That's right.
It's not like the chicken and the beef broth.
So hopefully I don't splash myself. We'll get that.
Is that like 2 heads of cauliflower?
That's one large head of cauliflower.
That was a big one.
Yeah, really kind of a nice looking one. And we'll have to keep an eye on that because you don't really want it to go dry. You don't want it soggy. You want just enough broth in it to
keep it
so that it'll steam essentially.
Okay.
So I'll cover that back up. I'm going to put a little bit of chicken broth in another pan. That one's hot. To do the asparagus in.
So you cook that in a skillet, basically.
Yeah, basically put that in a skillet.
I see you have a Paula Deen knife. That's nice. I've never seen that.
Yeah, it's really very nice. Paula's one of my heroes.
I like Paula.
I grew up watching cooking shows. Probably not a lot of guys do that, but I grew up watching cooking
My
shows.
son does. He loves cooking shows.
And I grew up with the Galloping Gourmet and Graham Kerr.
Yeah, and Julia Child.
And Julia Child, of course. Yeah, those were the three. And I really enjoyed watching those. I think part of the reason I did was that I enjoyed eating so much, and they cook better food than most anybody. So I'm going to also just cut a little bit of red pepper and throw it in with the asparagus. We're going to use it kind of as a garnish. Okay. And I just want to steam that a little bit as well. So hopefully I don't cut anything other than the pepper.
We won't be able to tell. The knife's red, the pepper's red.
Yeah, right. It's kind of a Christmassy thing here. We got mostly red and green and a little bit of white. So I'm just going to throw these in with the asparagus as well, so they steam up a little.
And I say red pepper is so good for you.
It is. It's. I think I was telling you earlier that since I was on the show last, I was diagnosed as diabetic. And it's had an influence on my how I cook and how I eat and how I exercise. I joined the Y and I go at least 3 times a week and swim, and I try to go 2 other times and do a little weightlifting.
Have you tried any of those swim Zumba classes?
Or no offense to anybody, but I tried the arthritis class because I do have arthritis, you know, at that point, and it was a little bit timid for me, I'll say. Okay.
Right. If you're going to get in there and you wanted to do a little more.
I wanted to do a little bit more. I wanted to do what I can do, you know, and I felt I could do a little more than what they were doing, even the Zumba class. Nice people, but I just wanted a little more, so I'm kind of doing my own program. So. All right, so we're going to get started with the fish now. I've got the fish here. It's also been cleaned and portioned.
And this is haddock, you
This
said?
is haddock. I love haddock.
I love haddock too.
One of the things I like about haddock are that it's mild flavored and it's a very firm fish. You know, it has a nice texture. You almost just...
Some of those white fishes are so flaky that you don't feel like you're getting enough to eat.
Right. So this you feel like you're eating meat, almost, you know. And so what we're going to do is coat it in a little bit of flour and salt and pepper. And there's a baggie there.
Oh, okay.
And if you could throw the salt and pepper and the flour in there.
Sure. Are we going to use all that salt and pepper?
Yep. Okay. Well, about half of that salt and pepper.
Okay.
That's about a quarter of a teaspoon, I'd say. Okay.
Mix it up.
Mix it up. And then toss the fish in.
I'll let you handle the fish. Your hands are already in it.
Yes, thank you.
Now, is this a recipe you came up with yourself? Is
Pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much. I do read a lot of recipes, but this is one I pretty much came up with myself. So if you wouldn't mind shaking that a little bit, just to lightly coat the fish. I'm going to rinse my hands off here. And we're going to make an egg wash to put the fish in. After it comes out of there, so we'll just take a couple of eggs.
The thing I like about fish too is it's so low in calories. Even if you do put a little flour on there, a little, you know,
and you know, we're not putting, you know, it's not like we're making a batter.
Right.
The only reason we're actually coating the fish with the flour and the salt and pepper is to give the almonds something to stick to. I'm going to grab this cutting board back so I'm able to wash it off.
Okay. We were both saying earlier to each other when we were talking about fish that we don't really like poached fish very much. We like
Not
some
much,
other kind of preparation. I think people that don't like fish just haven't had it prepared the right way.
I think you're right. I think you're right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the fish out of the bag, and you can see it's not really a batter. It's it's just got a little bit of a coating on it. Quick dip in the egg. And I'm just going to lay it on the board, and we're going to hand apply the.
Okay, we're not going to put it in a bag.
I find that it's icky to do that. So
the first piece isn't bad. It's when you try to put more pieces in there.
Right.
It just gets.
So just just a very light coat of the egg. You know, you could put it in the bag, but I prefer to put it on by hand so that you can actually kind of mush it into the fish a little bit.
Do you like all types of fish?
I like salmon. I like firm white fishes. And that's about it for me. You know, I like some shellfish, like
shrimp,
crab.
Yeah.
Crab legs. Who doesn't like crab legs?
Well, it's just so hard. It's so much work.
Who needs that? Huh?
Yeah, I like the flavor of crab. I just don't like all that work.
Right. One more time to wash the hands off.
Okay. We need a sink over here. I'll have to talk to my crew about installing a sink over here.
So then I just like to kind of sprinkle it on.
Okay.
And then just to make a light kind of a crust.
So all this is almonds that...
It's almonds that I ground in a food processor.
Mm-hmm.
You're just plain old almonds.
Mm-hmm.
And
did you toast them first?
Nope.
Nope.
Just plain almonds in a food processor until they come almost flour. You know, you can see it's a little bit grainy, but it's almost like flour. One of the cool things about using the almonds is that they kind of will help you know when the fish is done too. When
the color?
Yeah, when the almonds brown up, the fish will be pretty well cooked. So it's...
Have you ever tried this with any other kind of nuts?
I have tried it with I tried it with pecans, I tried it with peanuts, and I just like the flavor of the almonds with the fish.
Okay.
So okay, now they're pretty well ready to fry up.
Okay.
If I can get we're gonna move over to the stove area.
Sure.
We need to add a little bit of broth to that. And I'm probably going to move it back to the back burner. Looks like it's getting close to that, but not quite. We'll have time to fry the fish. We'll crank up the heat on the front burner a little bit, burn the pan again. Cauliflower is looking nice. So I'll wait for the pan to warm up. One of the things that I learned from watching Jeff Smith, the Frugal Gourmet, all of the cooks, they have these little sayings that they say, emeralds, bam, and Jeff Smith always used to say, hot pan or cold oil, foods won't stick. I don't know why, it's just one of those things that's stuck in my head. So before I ever put anything in a pan, oil that I'm going to fry or anything, I always make sure that the pan's good and hot. Okay. And then you put the oil in cold, and according to Jeff Smith, the Frugal Gourmet, the foods won't stick. So we'll test that today, okay? What I've got here is about a third of a cup of vegetable oil. You could use peanut oil, canola oil, whatever you prefer. You can use olive oil, but I find olive oil is a little heavy.
Yeah, you get some
doing
flavor
fish.
that you might not want sometimes.
It's okay, that should... Yeah,
Sounds right.
That's the sound
you wanted to hear. So what other things have you changed since your diagnosis with diabetes? What have you changed and how has it seemed to help? You mentioned exercise. And
diet and exercise, those are the key. And I guess they're key for control. They're key for anybody. You want to live a healthy lifestyle. Speaking of healthy lifestyle, I see that you're going to be teaching one of the classes at the Y. It's part of their healthy lifestyles program. So, and in fact,
I might just do this. No, I can't. They don't have a stove or an oven, so it's a little bit of a challenge
It is a
to
challenge.
teach cooking
without
a stove and an oven, but we're going to see what we can do.
Right.
Crock pots, I guess, and maybe electric skillet or something.
Well, healthy stuff. What do you have in mind?
You know what, I'm going to show some kinds of side dishes that, people are so used to potatoes and rice and noodles as side dishes, but I'm going to use some grains and show some different side dishes that you can make.
Any of the new hip grains, like quinoa or some of those
barley, and then some vegetables and a couple of chicken in a crock pot type things. So those are going to be what we're going to be cooking in.
Have you gotten a lot of people to sign up for the class?
I think they have, yeah. I mean, they seem to always do well with those challenges. People like being in a group, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And then it's up